Welcome to MenSheds Australia's module on starting a committee or board.
The agenda of this module is to provide you with some of the key aspects of forming and growing a committee or board and provide you with the ways and means that you can apply to your MenShed. At the completion of this module, you'll be better able to put together an initial committee or board for your MenShed.
The best boards are those that are inclusive, comprising people with a wide variety of backgrounds and walks of life, and representing a wide variety of views and skills within the community. A board of directors is a body of elected or appointed persons who jointly oversee the activities of the MenShed. The board is not necessarily about doing. It is about ensuring things are done. The board must be definite about the MenShed's performance and expectations. It must assign these expectations clearly and must check to see that these expectations are being met. You should never accept a board position without knowing what you are getting into. When you agree to take on a board role, you will be accepting a range of legal, moral and ethical responsibilities. Perhaps the biggest benefit of being a board member is being inspired through the work of the people associated with the MenShed. Its members, volunteers, supporters and the people who benefit from its services.
Your MenShed must have the right skill mix in order to be successful. It is worth taking the time to ensure that this happens. MenSheds Australia can certainly supplement many of the skills that you are missing, but we can't do it all. Call and discuss this very important issue with us. Many people still think that in order to get a MenShed established, that they need to initiate large community meetings and form large committees. This is the quickest way to get bogged down. We know of many who have gone this route, and here we are 3 years later and still nothing has happened. Some of Australia's biggest corporations only had 5 to 10 people on the board of directors, and those people are busy people. Frustrations are much like medical conditions. We know what they are, but we cannot quite put our finger on them. Take this list of common frustrations and check the ones that you think apply to you. You are then in a position to discuss them with others and implement actions to gradually remove the frustrations or at least bring them under control. When we bring this subject up, many people cringe because they think we are too commercial. This is rubbish and they miss the point. One of the big issues in a community today is the lack of leaders and people who will accept responsibilities. What you have to compete for is their valuable time, as these willing horses are already flogged to death. Be competitive. Make your MenShed the best and most exciting organisation in town to be involved with. So much to do and so little time. In society today, we tend to accept negative people and situations, thinking that they do not affect us. What part of the world are the media going to get some footage of a train smash from today, if there is not one in our country? Who are we going to pull to pieces or spread a negative rumour about today? Spend a few moments just thinking about and feeling how negative people actually affect you and your performance. Always be on the lookout for people who can motivate you and get them involved with your board or committee. It is the motivators that have the ability and the energy to make things happen. One of the key roles of MenShed Australia is to provide you with entrepreneurial spirit and drive. Call the help desk to discuss just how you might ensure that your team will have some of the dynamics injected into it by entrepreneurship. At some point, you have to get down to the doing stage. It is fine to sit around discussing the big picture and what we might be able to do in the future, but too much time sitting around leads to procrastination and nothing gets done. Look for people who can not only give input, but can also implement the actions to match. Seek out good listeners and encouragers and people you know that you can trust. These are the rare people who can help you to think it through, even though they do not fully understand. MenSheds Australia can supply the how-to stuff and the technical stuff, but you need doers on the ground. They're ready to help you. How many times have you heard the words, we shoulda, and we coulda, but? If you miss the train, then you have missed it. If you catch it, you are underway and can move freely up and down the carriages. Be aware that the dreaded procrastination sets in early. You need people around you that are action-orientated and appreciate that there is a need for speed. As Peter Drucker, the famous author on management, says, these relationships, alliances, partnerships and agreements have to be based on common understanding of objectives, policies, strategies, and on teamwork. Is your level of business knowledge high enough to allow you to understand what needs to be done in starting a MenShed? Or is your knowledge better suited to running the MenShed? Remember, the knowledge the MenShed needs will change as you go through the various stages of development and growth. Be prepared to change your team as new situations dictate in order to keep your MenShed vibrant. Nobody wants to fail. Your best guarantee is to surround yourself with good people who are focused and action-orientated and are proactive in seeking external advice. Plan the adventure, and it should be an adventure, with a passion. If we write it down, it will probably happen. If we don't, it probably won't. As you move through your day, write down any new ideas and issues for sorting later. Imagine a team of people who are faithful to you and to the MenShed, make themselves available when needed, and they are teachable and willing to learn new ways and means. Of course, it would be nice if they were accountable, they were good listeners, had something significant yet to do with their lives, and they didn't just take up real estate in your mind and not pay the rent. Use this list to develop a simple set of rules or guidelines for your team to work with. Seek their input to the list. A well-run committee or board will be very member-orientated. They will focus on member issues and involve the members at every opportunity. A good board or committee will not lean on their own understanding and act as if they were the only fountain of knowledge. We put being enthusiastic with high belief levels and passion at the top of the list. Without these three things present, don't start a MenShed. Call us for help by all means, but these three attributes should be evident right from the start. It can take too long to inject them into a team. The MenShed must have a culture of mateship and looking after each other, and the development of this culture is the responsibility of the committee or board. There is no room for selfishness. The ideal is a MenShed full of givers, not takers. This frame is a summary of some of the key findings of the research done by the Carpenter Committee on Leadership and Management in Australia. These findings are very relevant to MenSheds and can act as a good guide. We interpret the international awareness as being aware of the changing economic environment or marketplace in which we all live. As a leader or manager, you cannot do it all by yourself. You must be able to delegate successfully. In delegating, you may need to 1. Delegate to your committee or board. 2. Form and delegate to some committees. While we do not want too many committees, it is a way of involving the members and at the same time delegating some degree of activity and responsibility. Those of you who are familiar with the theories of group behaviour may have heard the expression forming, storming, norming, performing. This, in essence, indicates that a group has life cycle periods, not very different from that of a single human being. Awareness of these things will improve our overall management effectiveness. It is always good to understand some of the problems you may have to face. This helps us to understand what can go wrong well before it happens, in order that preventative strategies and actions can be put in place. We stress again to be alert to those people who are in it for the glory. Like poor health, pressure builds up over a period of time. It creeps up on you. You will find that the better the team you build, the less pressure you are likely to build up, and the more fun you will have. You will hear us use the word fun repeatedly. The reason for this is well known. If there is no fun, people do not perform well at whatever they are doing. The level of fun in a team, or indeed the whole MenShed, will directly impact on the eventual outcomes in both terms of men's health and economic activities. Just walk down the street of your community and observe the businesses. The successful ones will be the ones having fun and enjoying what they are doing, irrespective of the amount of money they are making. However, it is not much fun if you are up to your armpits in cash flow and funding problems. Nonetheless, these too are fixable. Being nice all the time will make you a lot of friends, but it will not necessarily be goal-achieving. The members of your committee or board need to ask the hard questions from time to time. After all, they are accountable. If you don't, then the wheels will start falling off. MenSheds that do not continually address the issues associated with management succession will ultimately pay the price. Nothing is forever.